Good morning, students. So, we completed the chapter of current transformer and potential transformer, and now we will start the chapter of circuit breakers and its protection. So, let's first see the switch gear and its protection. What are the fundamentals of switch gear and how circuit breaker are related to the switch gear with the help of first fundamentals of switch gears. So, a switchgear essentially consists of switching and protection device such as switches, fuses, circuit breakers, relays, etc. Right? So, switchgear is essentially consists of switching and protecting devices. So, circuit breakers is also one type of protection device. So, it will be common switchgear fundamentals. During normal operation, switchgear permits to switch on or off generators, transmission lines, distributors and other electrical equipments. And on the other hand, when a failure or short circuit occurs on any part of power system, a heavy current flow through the equipment, threatening damage to the equipment and interruption of service to the customers. So, however, the switch gear detects the fault and disconnects the unhealthy section from the system. In this way, switchgear protects the system from the damage and ensures continuity of supply. So, switchgear is the apparatus used for switching, controlling and protecting the electrical circuits and equipments is known as switchgear. Switchgear equipment is essentially concerned with switching and interrupting currents either under normal or abnormal operating conditions. So the essential features should be of switchgear are first complete reliability. The need for a reliable switchgear has become of paramount importance. This is not surprising because switchgear is added to the power system to improve the reliability. When fault occurs on any part of the power system, the switchgear must operate to isolate the faulty section from the remainder circuit. So, second one will be absolutely certain discrimination. When fault occurs on any section of the power system, the switchgear must be able to discriminate between the faulty section and the healthy section to remain to protect our other healthy section by the from damage. Third one will be quick operation. The switchgear must operate very quickly so that no damage is done to generators, transformers and other equipment by the short circuit currents. Fourth one is provision for manual control. A switchgear must have provision for manual control. In case the electrical control fails, the necessary operation can be carried out through manual control. And last one essential feature is provision for instruments. There must be provision for instrument which may be required. This may be in the form of ammeter or voltmeter. So let's see the equipments of switch gears. First is switches. So a switch is a device which is used to open or close an electrical circuit in convenient way. It can be used under full load or no load conditions, but it cannot interrupt the fault currents. So the switches may be classified into first is air brake switch. It is an air switch and is designed to open a circuit under load. Air brake switches are generally used outdoor for circuits of medium capacity. Second one is isolator or disconnecting switch. It is designed to open a circuit under no load. Okay, so first one is to open a circuit under a load and the second one is open a circuit under no load. Its main purpose is to isolate one portion of the circuit from the other and is not intended to be open while current is flowing in the line. Okay, it is designed one portion of the circuit from the other and is not intended to open while current is flowing in the line. Third one is oil switches. As the name implies, the contact of such switches are open under oil. The effect of oil is to cool and quench the arc that drains to form when the circuit is open. Okay, so these three types of switches. air brake, isolator, and last one is oil switches. Now the second equipment is fuse. A fuse is a short piece of wire or thin strip which melts when excessive current flows through it for sufficient time. It is worthwhile to note that a fuse performs both detection and interruption function. Then third one is circuit breakers is an equipment which can open or close a circuit under all conditions by no load, full load and faulty conditions. So it is so designed that it can be operated manually or by remote control under normal conditions and automatically under fault condition. The circuit breaker essentially consists of moving and fixed contacts enclosed in strong metal tank and immersed in oil, also known as transformer oil. Okay, so the circuit breaker essentially consists of moving and fixed contacts enclosed in strong metal tank and immersed in oil, also known as transformer oil. And the last equipment of switchgear are relays. A relay is a device which detects the fault and supplies information to the breaker for circuit interruption. Okay, so relay have only one work, that it detect the fault and supply information to breaker. After it information, breaker will decide to open or to disconnect from the situation. Okay, now let's see our main equipment first, circuit breaker. Okay, so here you can say circuit breakers. The first one is in form of switches and second one is also switches but are connected in substations. So circuit breaker, the definition of circuit breaker is a mechanical switching device capable of making, carrying and breaking current under normal circuit condition and also making, carrying and breaking current for a specified time and breaking current under specified abnormal conditions such as short circuit. This is the IEEE standard definition. These are the MCB. Okay. So, how this circuit breaker works? So first we will let's see what is arc. Arc means ionization of air molecules causing interrupting current flow from one contact to other contacts becomes so heated that it glows as called arc. Ionization of air molecules causing interrupting current flow from one contact to other contact becomes so heated that it's called arc. Now arc phenomena. Here the potential difference between the contact is sufficient to ionize the air or oil or gas. It's called arc. The ionized air acts as conductor and arc is struck between them even though contacts of breaker are open. Even though two conductors are not connected physically, but the distance between them are so close that the current ionizes the air and through the air current flows from one conductor to another conductor. It called arc. So this is the tripping time. Here you can see quenching time and picking time, how we use these terms. So factor affecting the arc resistance. So first degree of ionization, less number of ionized particles between the contacts increase the arc resistance, right? What means resistance? Resistance means we resist something. So if we make the ionized particle less, then we can say that the arc resistance are increased. So length of arc, second one is arc resistance is a function of arc length. More the length of the arc, more will be the arc resistance. And the third one is cross section of arc. Arc resistance is large when the cross section of arc is less. Right? So these all three, length, cross section and degree of ionization, are affect the arc resistance. So arc interruption method, first one is high resistance method and second one is low resistance method. So first we will see high resistance method. So the resistance of arc can be increased by cooling the arc, increase the length of the arc, reducing the cross sectional area of arc, and fourth one is splitting of arc. So and the second one is low resistance interruption. And in low resistance interruption we have two methods. First is recovery rate theory, we can also say Slapian's theory, and second one is energy balance theory, which we can also say Cass's theory. Okay. So now the circuit breakers, how this arc can be related to circuit breakers. So circuit breakers phenomena, it required that the insulating material, it can be fluid or air used in circuit breaker, should serve two important functions. Like first one is it should provide sufficient insulation between the contacts when circuit breaker opens, and second one, it should extinguish the arc occurring between the contacts when circuit breaker opens. As we see that when we increase the space between two conductor, as the voltage and current are so high in this type of conductors, the current will flow through the ionized air, and it will, although the conductors are separate, though also the current will start flowing through the air and the connectivity will not be break. So what we should do, we should extinguish this arc occurring between the contacts of the circuit breakers when it opens. Okay. So here second point needs more explanation. As to understand this point, first consider the situation if there is some fault or short circuit in the system. The relay provides desired signal to the circuit breaker so as to prevent system from ongoing fault. Now when circuit breaker open its contacts, due to this an arc is drawn and the arc is interrupted by suitable insulator and techniques. We will see this technique, high resistance method and low resistance method. So first, high resistance method. In high interruption method, we can increase the electrical resistance many times to such a high value that it forces the current to reach to zero, and thus restriking the possibility of arc being restruck. So proper steps must be taken in order to ensure that the rate at which the resistance is increased or decreased is not abnormal, because it may lead to generation of harmful induced voltage in the system. So the arc resistance can be increased by various methods like lengthening or cooling of the arc, or taking large cross section area, or by making this arc distinguished in oil or any other fluid. So second one is low resistance method. Why we are doing low resistance method? There will be any limitations in high resistance method. So let's see the limitations. Arc discharge has a resistive nature. Due to this, most of energy is received by circuit breaker itself. Hence, proper care should be taken during the manufacturing of circuit breaker, like mechanical strength of the circuit breaker. Therefore, this method is applied in DC power circuit breaker, low and medium AC power circuit breakers. Low resistance method is applicable only for AC circuit, and it is possible there because of presence of natural zero of current. The arc gets extinguished at the natural zero of the AC wave and is prevented from restriking again by rapid building of dielectric strength of the contact space. As we know that the voltage, very high voltage, the circuit breaker is working on, so we cannot use this high resistance method for very high power or high generation. We can use this type of method in only low and medium AC power circuit breakers, and for high power circuit breakers we can use low resistance method by using zero current interruption method in when and in AC natural zero current occurs. So now for low resistance method there are two theories. First is energy balance theory and second one is voltage raise theory. Before these two theories, let's first see some terms using in this arc extinction method. So the first is restriking voltage. It may be defined as the voltage that appear across the breaking contact at the instant of arc extinction. So at the instant of arc extinction, whatever voltage appears across the breaking contact is called as restriking voltage. Second one is recovery voltage. So it defined as the voltage that appear across the breaker contact after the complete removal of transient oscillations and final extinction of arc has resulted in all the poles. So first restriking voltage, it occurs at the instant of arc extinction, and the recovery voltage is occurred after the complete removal of transient oscillation and final extinction of arc has resulted in all the poles. Third one is active recovery voltage. It defined as the instantaneous recovery voltage at the instant of arc extinction. Arc voltage is defined the voltage appear across the contact during the arcing period when the current flow is maintained in the form of an arc. It assumes low value except for the point at which the voltage rises rapidly to a peak value and current reaches to zero. So arc voltage is a voltage appears across the contact during the arcing period. Okay, so these are the terms which we need to remind for this the arc extinction method. So first low resistance method to extinguish the arc is energy balance theory. So when the contact of circuit breakers are about to open, restriking voltage is zero. Hence, generated heat would be zero, and when the contacts are fully open, there is infinite resistance. These again make no production of heat. So we can conclude from this that the maximum generated heat is lying between these two cases and can be approximated. Now this theory is based on the fact that the rate of generation of heat between the contacts of circuit breakers is lower than the rate at which heat contact is dissipated. Thus, if it is possible to remove the generated heat by cooling, lengthening, or splitting the arc at a high rate of generation, arc can be extinguished. So, as we see, when the contact of circuit breakers are about to open, restriking voltage is zero, so the generated heat would be zero. So, the maximum generated heat is lying between the two cases is the rate of generation of heat between the contacts of circuit breakers is lower than the rate at which heat between the contacts is dissipated. So it is possible to remove the generated heat by cooling, lengthening and splitting the arc at a high rate of generation. Arc can be extinguished. Now the second one is voltage raise theory. The arc is due to the ionization of the gap between the contacts of the circuit breaker. Thus, the resistance at the initial stage is very small. When the contacts are closed and as the contact separates, the resistance starts increasing. If we remove ions at the initial stage, either by recombining them into natural molecules or inserting insulation at a rate faster than the rate of ionization, the arc can be interrupted. The ionization of zero current depends on the voltage known as restriking voltage. So let us define an expression for this restriking voltage. For lossless and ideal system, we have small v equal to capital V 1 minus cos of t by under root of LC. Here small v is restriking voltage and capital V is the value of voltage at the instant of interruption. L and C are series inductor and shunt capacitance up to fault point. Thus, from above equation, we can see that lower the value of product of L and C, higher the value of restriking voltage. So, the variation of V versus time is plotted as below. Here, the magnitude is 2 into Vm and time period is 1 upon under root of Lc. Now let us consider a practical system or assume there finite loss in the system as shown in figure. In this case, the restriking voltage is damped out due to the presence of some finite resistance. Here it is assumed that the current lags behind the voltage by an angle 90 degree. However, in practical situation, angles may vary depending upon a time cycle at which the fault is occurred. So here you can say that the sine wave is given as fault current and the dotted line is of system voltage, and we restrike the voltage at the 90 degree of the fault current, right? So when the current becomes zero, at that point we restrike the voltage, and after some times it will again came as same as system voltage. So it can also can say that zero current theory, right? Cases theory. Now second one is, let us consider the effect of arc voltage if arc voltage is included in the system. So there is an increment in the restriking voltage. However, this is offset by another effect of an arc voltage, which opposes the current flow and making change in the phase of current, thus bringing it more into phase with the applied voltages. Hence, the current is not at its peak value when voltage passes through zero value. So here you can see that the fault current is shown, also the arc voltage is shown, and dotted line is same as system voltage. So when the fault current and arc voltage are become zero, at that time we restrike the voltage to extinguish our arc. So this is the rate of rise of restriking, we can say. So the term rate of rise of restriking voltage, we can say it is defined as the ratio of peak value of restriking voltage to time taken to reach to peak value. Okay, the ratio of peak value of restriking voltage to time taken to reach to peak value. So it is the ratio of the peak value divided by the time to reach that peak value. It is one of the most important parameter, as if the rate at which the dielectric strength developed between the contacts is greater than triple RV, and then the arc will be extinguished. So here we saw two theory, arc energy balance, and second one is voltage recovery theory.